Amy Klobuchar declined to prosecute officer at center of George Floyd's death after previous conduct complaints. So, that cop that killed George Floyd has been involved in the death of 3 people, including Floyd? Wow. Just wow. Biden would be an absolute fool to pick her as VP. Officer at center of George Floyd's death is a new one. Doesn't roll off the tongue as well as George Floyd's murderer, but to each his own, I guess. Deleted. According to the dates of his previous offenses, Klobuchar wasn't the prosecutor anymore when most of his serious offenses happened. The stuff he did during her tenure was mostly about his language and attitude, and some of the hairier things were still not resolved by the time she left. Edit. There are enough people who seem pretty resolute that the information I have is incorrect that I'm no longer so sure, given that his complaints have been sealed. Just go try to find out for yourselves. I may be wrong. In particular, he was involved in the shooting death of a man who had stabbed other people before attacking police, as well as some other undisclosed complaints. Klobuchar did not prosecute Chauvin for the first death. The death went to a grand jury and they, not the prosecutor, said there was not enough evidence of a crime to indict. Needless to say, the article previously said that Klobuchar was at fault for a 2011 shooting when she was a senator, not a district attorney. It clearly shows the writer's motive of making this a hit piece. At least the editors tried to clean it up. I don't have opinions on whether or not she should have prosecuted the cases against the office because I don't really know which of the 10 incidents made it to her desk, or what kind of complaints they were, info not found in linked article. What I want to know is why people are more interested in vilifying Klobuchar before blaming the police department that kept him in his job for many years as 10 complaints accumulated, before he ultimately killed Mr. Floyd. Maybe after 3-4-5 complaints, depending on their severity, the police department can take some accountability on behalf of the community they are supposed to be serving, and fire people for failing to appropriately do their job. Klobuchar hasn't been the county attorney in 15 years, but all of a sudden it's her fault. I don't think so. This is one hell of a hit piece. The article points to a database of 10 conduct complaints and specifically calls out him shooting someone in 2011. The problem is, she became senator in 2007. Only 3 of the complaints are pre-2007 and all of them are for language and tone. No shit, she didn't prosecute the police officer for language. How could she prosecute someone in 2011 when she was a senator already? This article is hastily written and skips many major facts, including in the first paragraph it does not mention the dates for which Klobuchar was the Hennepin County attorney. I would like to see a better sourced article on the same subject, that shows exactly the police conduct cases that Klobuchar failed to prosecute. The public deserves to know. I am not making excuses for her, she probably was weak on police abuses. But this article is innuendo, not good journalism. Try pulling some records or newspaper archives for dog's sake. Okay. Let's look at the 2 cases in which Chauvin was involved. 1. Wayne Reyes in late 2006 stabbed his girlfriend and a male friend. He drove off and police pursued. Police claim Reyes aimed a shotgun at them when police stopped him. 6 officers fired on him, among them Chauvin. This is at the time Klobuchar's time as state prosecutor was ending. 2. IRA tolls. May 28, 2008. Klobuchar assumed office as U.S. Senator on January 3, 2007, 18 months before this incident. She could not have been involved in the prosecution. This headline is misleading and the article does not present the facts of the cases. In one instance, Klobuchar wasn't even a prosecutor, and in the second instance, Reyes, her time as a DA was coming to an end. The grand jury refused to bring charges in the Reyes case, by the way. Cursory glance of the 2 other incidents, both seem to have been investigated and were found warranted. Guy stabbed multiple people, they attacked police. They don't list these other complaints though. She was a senator, not AG, during the complaints in question. Did anyone actually do their due diligence here? This is clearly a hit piece and blatant propaganda. Be better. Kiss that VP nomination goodbye then. Dodged that bullet. Ex-Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin saw at least 10 conduct complaints during his 19-year tenure before he was fired Tuesday, according to a database that documents complaints against police. In particular, he was involved in the shooting death of a man who had stabbed other people before attacking police, as well as some other undisclosed complaints. Klobuchar did not prosecute Chauvin for the first death, and he was later placed on leave when he and other officers shot and wounded a Native American man in 2011. At least 10 complaints? In no other line of work would that be acceptable. The cop is sadistic. It was pretty obvious from the video he was out to murder him. It's a common thing with serial killers. You feel emboldened to actually start doing things. Considering he has a history of this behavior paints a nasty picture. You hear that? That's the sound of her chances of getting the VP nomination crashing and burning. I'm not here to shill for Amy, but this article is a bullshit smear attempt. In 2006, Chauvin shot and killed a man armed with a sawed-off shotgun. It was investigated and ruled to be justified. Claiming that Klobuchar declined to prosecute distorts the situation, as there was never any accusation of wrongdoing or reason for her to consider charges. Stick a fork in Amy 'cause she done. She just got removed from the vice president list. Her career needs to be over. Completely unacceptable. Her VP chances just went up in smoke. Hey, she still has a chance. Maybe Trump will drop Pence and draft her to freshen up the ticket. Seems we can strike one off the VP list. Her political career is over after this one. Thank fuck she didn't get the nom. This should sink her VP bid. Neither did Kamala Harris with Ezell Ford and Mario Woods. She refused to even investigate it. Don't buy her political angry talk now. When she had the chance she looked away. I despise her. Did people see her post from 13 hours ago before the story broke? The case cries out for action, charges and justice. Geez, if only you were in a position of power to do something about it, Amy. Do you see the problem now? It's the white moderate elite like Klobuchar. Some say things like super predators, others vote for busing, others choose to look the other way. But they all have the same mindset: Klobuchar, Biden, Clinton, Bloomberg, Harris, butterfuck. All the same. Tell me, moderates, which other ghouls do you want in power? Can we finally breathe a sigh of relief that she won't get a VP nod now? Think she is now off the list? Well, she doesn't have to go any further in the vetting process for VP. She's done. I actually can't stand her, so anything that would disqualify her would be fine by me. I don't understand why this person is taken seriously at the national level. Guess who just saw any chance of being VP go up in smoke? If this guy goes to jail, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if Trump pardons him. I refuse to remember the killer's name, but only the victim, George Floyd. But on the other hand, the 75 cops protecting his house, my only thought would be to protect the killer's family only. They had nothing to do with the killing, but because they are the killer's family, threats were to them, as well as the 17-year-old teenager who recorded the whole thing. She has been getting death threats for not doing anything. Our society is fucked up. A few bad apples spoil the barrel. There are good cops out there, but the bad cops makes it harder for the good cops. Just like with the protesters. The protesters are being peaceful, the rioters are giving them a bad name. We need a group of lawyers and prosecutors for the bad cops. One strike and you're done with. No more slaps on the wrists, or they learned their lesson. They need to be accountable on the first strike. We need to stop this cycle, in order to bring the good cops back out. Then maybe people can start trusting them again, without the bad apples. Here's to hoping our country finally wakes the fuck up and hold everyone accountable for their actions, badge or no badge.